guys. Today we're on chapter 10, published February 12th, 2022. Chapter 10. The Christmas season came around, and there was anything but the togetherness you'd hope for around the holidays. I was wanting to be in the North Pole with Santa and the elves, sprinkling happiness and joy for all the world. But in reality, I could not have been further away from that desire. I felt full of sorrow and sadness, alone and weak and cold to the bones. Pitiful, really. We got an unexpected weekend away and went to his parents' house in the mountains. The scenery could not have reflected what was happening between us any better. There was snow and ice everywhere I looked. It was cold as fuck. We were attempting to have a good time, ignoring the obvious. I made homemade food and we watched football. Went to a meeting, out to dinner. We didn't talk about anything that was happening, but I felt it in the pit of my stomach. The cabin ambiance was beautiful, though. His mom had decorated it for the season. We kept the lights low, and the appearance of having the right vibes took center stage. White lights sparkling everywhere, candles lit here and there. When we went to bed that night, he fell asleep immediately. I laid there for hours, with anxiety coursing through every inch of my body, tossing and turning, trying to ignore it, but something wouldn't let me. The angst was not going away. I got out of bed in slow motion, walked out of the bedroom, through the dining room, into the living room. His phone lay charging by the fireplace. It felt as if I was being led to it, where my answers awaited. There, I would discover why there was so much distance between us, why things didn't feel right, and why they hadn't for months. There were other women, so very many other women. He was on multiple dating sites talking to other women, on Facebook talking to other women, women in AA, even a therapist of his child. Not just a few, so many that he would never be able to tell me the truth about them because he actually couldn't. There were too fucking many. There were messages between him and his ex that painted a completely contradictory picture than that of what he told me. They spoke and messaged every single day as if they were still in a relationship. They mostly weren't talking about the children, and she certainly wasn't co-parenting. So what was this? They were friends? They talked every day? They were flirty? This didn't make any sense. I thought she was crazy and abusive to your children. I thought you hated her and she was the most fucked up person you knew. He was welcoming her into his life, into their lives, into our lives. Blamed everything on her, but couldn't take accountability of his own part in the pain that his behavior caused. What the fuck? Oh God, what do I do? Fucking dreadful. Dreadful. Reader, do you know what perfidy means? I have a feeling you do, based on the little scene that has just unfolded here. But you should look up the word in your dictionary, just to be sure. From the Tale of Despero. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The love between us seemed so big and so real, but then this was anything but. In the middle of the night, I went into the bedroom, turned on the light, and started packing my stuff. He woke up and asked me what was wrong. He refused to tell the truth. He couldn't even look me in the eyes. He was such a coward about it. It hurt so fucking bad, I couldn't even formulate anger. It was just pure pain, the kind that makes you numb. After I realized his total inability for even the smallest kernel of honesty, I went to bed alone, without a word. The next morning, I grabbed a cup of coffee and took a mountain walk. I have a hazy memory of him trying to talk to me in the background, but I didn't respond. I walked down to the lake and onto its frozen surface. The setting could not have been more perfect. My skin was burning from the cold, but it was even colder with him inside that house. I sat down on a dock with my coffee and cigarettes. The pain had rendered me into stillness, which, in a way, was quite peaceful. I had no thoughts. After a time, I walked back to the cabin and told him to take me home. We shared an hour of silence in his truck until finally he spoke. On edge, he begged me to say something, anything. Yell at me, he said. I don't care, just say something. Oddly, because normally I would have had plenty to say in situations like these. The last person that betrayed me got punched in the face and never spoken to again as a response. Not proud of that. I was appalled by his appeal to yell at him. I simply said no and continued my silent stillness the rest of the way home, feeling sick to my stomach. The time that follows is a blur. We wouldn't talk for days, then talk again and try to work it out. Then we wouldn't talk for weeks, then talk again and try to work it out. Then we wouldn't talk for months, then talk again and try to work it out. Over and over. Love, hate, love, hate, love, hate. I do believe he tried, but he couldn't leave the other women alone. He was incapable of being honest with himself, let alone me. He couldn't build an appropriate co-parenting relationship with his ex. He used them, every single one. The magnitude of it all made my head spin. At the same time, it was amazingly crystal clear. Those interactions did too much for him, for his ego. They were a distraction for him, from him. They gave him a sense of security. It didn't matter how false it was or who was hurt in the process, even if it was his own children. He was disturbingly detached from himself, his emotions, and his actions. He wasn't at all who he said he was. But how was I able to understand this so readily? Click. Another number to the combination on the safe. There's a saying in AA, if you spot it, you got it. Ouch. Though cheating was not on my resume, I was a master runner in other ways. He also told me that he did these things because if we broke up, then he wouldn't have to face the pain of it. There was always another open door to walk right into. That, in a sick way, I understood. He was running from his dark too, from the things common to many, but no one wanted to talk about. And with this, a hauntingly miraculous thing was also starting to happen. He was exposing in me all the deepest, darkest crevices I would have never explored on my own. Because of the tremendous love, he was the only human on the face of this planet that had the ability to rip me open and force me to bring me to my own attention. Full disclosure. At one time, writing this was to be a project we were going to do together. Life, however, had other plans. Still, there is great purpose here. It's so easy to write off another in the name of some justified emotion given to us by something unjust done to us. Fuck him, he's a dick, just like the rest of them. End of story. Hand back the pain. Punch him in the face, or freak out, or badmouth them. Hurt them in return in some way that feels fair. It's seemingly easier, right? We don't have to utilize any care or understanding. We don't have to look at ourselves at all. How convenient. Yet, at the crux of this situation was what he was reflecting back to me and what would have been a shame to miss. And the real question being, why was I still there? Chapter 10. What I love about this chapter is that I'm on the other side of it. And that by the time I was able to write it, I could ask the hard questions to myself and grow from the experience and understand so many more people as a result of going through something like this. And if you've been there, I'm sorry. I know what that feels like. Betrayal, it's a tough one. A really good thing came of sharing this chapter. And there's a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in years wrote a comment that was so amazing that whenever I was having a hard time writing something or sharing on a particular topic, I would remember this comment and remember why I'm doing this. Like I'm doing this, I'm sharing this to hopefully reach somebody else. But even if I don't, it's writing this story, writing out the most painful moments of my life and sharing them has been the best thing I've ever done for me. So, if you're interested in reading the comment, you can check it out. I'll link the chapter in the description box. And I think at the end of the day, when it comes to going through things like this, you can't. Betrayal is not logical. It doesn't make sense. It will never make sense. The only thing that we can do to empower ourselves to get through something like that is to ask ourselves, what did we miss? Why did I accept being treated that way? Why why did I think that that was all that I was worth? And so, yeah, I guess that's all. This is a weird chapter, but I'm glad that it's not making me emotional. I'm glad that I can just talk about it and shake my head, you know? So, thank you as always for being here, and we'll see you next week for chapter 11. Thank you.